Unless you have a special meeting.
I
We need to have one or two.
I know.
When I get there.
Green, Brittany?
Yeah.
Okay.
High school. High school.
All right, if everybody can please come to order, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So, appreciate all the people that are here, and, we've got a fairly long agenda, so we're gonna try to work through it here as best we can. First, before we get into the approval of the minutes, I'd like to welcome Mitch Umbarger, our newest member. So it looks like we're back to full strength here. So welcome, Mitch.
Thank you.
Glad to have you on board. Looks like everyone is here. So next item will be approval of the minutes from our June 16th meeting. I think those were sent out ahead of time. Were there any changes, corrections?
Motion to approve.
Okay, we got a motion, Mr. Goodwin. Second from Dr. Swanson. Is there any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next is approval of the agenda. I think everyone's got the agenda in front of us. Looks like item number 5 has been deferred, which we can address when we get down to it. But are there any changes, additions, deletions on the agenda? If not, we need a motion to approve.
Make the motion to approve.
Okay, we got a motion.
Second.
All right, seconded by Mr. Johnson. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Agenda is approved. So now we come to the section in the meeting for comments from citizens. So there's a number of items on the agenda tonight. At this point, we invite people that are here to speak on a particular agenda item. If you'll raise your hand, I'll be glad for you to come up and I'll start calling on you. Also, there are 2 items on here tonight on our agenda, items number 9 and 11, that are public hearings. One is an amendment to the land use plan on Woodbury Highway, and another one is accepting plans of service for some annexation request on Oakdale Street. I will also, when we get to those 2 public hearing items, I will allow anybody in the audience that's here on those 2 specific items to speak during the public hearing. Otherwise, this is your opportunity to address any item that's on the agenda tonight. So I saw one hand back there. Sir, if you want to come up where you can you be seen there on the screen? Yeah, you get where you can be seen on the little screen, and then
Screen, you can do it.
If you can see yourself in that screen there, that's where you
Yeah.
need to be.
that's right.
There you go.
Tell us your name and what item you're here to
My
speak
name's
about.
Milton Freeze. I live at 558 Gilly Circle,
Okay.
which is the property which is directly across the street from the 1.97 acres. I'm up here with me, and there's like 20 of us from Llewellyn Drive and Gilly Circle. This was voted on in June and was denied. This was voted on at the beginning of this month and unanimously denied. And for some odd reason, it went back to the planning commission again. But we don't want this to be R4. R1, RS1, a number of us has said that is not really a big deal to us, but R4 is nothing that we want. It keeps being brought up at the board meeting too that, well, we don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but it being R4 just means it's multifamily. It just means more people are coming in. We live on a small road. We don't need an upgrade. We don't need the extra traffic to come in. There's lots of kids that walk up and down. There's lots of families that walk around the circle, that run around the circle, have a good time. With the low traffic, people feel safe. But with being R4, that means later on, that means more traffic coming in. That means more, with the kids, have to really start paying attention. It's less people being able to do and live their normal lives the way we are already used to doing this. And we don't need the extra traffic or want the extra traffic. We've lived here, we bought this for a reason, and now it's being taken away from us for why we bought our places the way we did. But I just want to say thank y'all, and that's what I'd like to say.
Okay, well, thank you very much. All right, next, yes, ma'am, same thing, if you'll just kind of come up here and tell us your name and which
My name
item.
is Barbara Wickham.
Okay,
I moved up to Manchester 9 years ago. Took me 4 months to find a house. It was on Gilly Circle. I love that place. I do not want it rezoned to R4. It's a rural, it has a rural setting. It's peaceful. The traffic is not bad. And all the neighbors are really nice. I really do not want to be annexed into the city. I've never lived in the city, don't want to be grabbed except you're in the city now. I do appreciate the meeting here, but I am against the R4.
okay, thank you very much. All right, I saw another lady over here first, but raise up first, in the black.
I'll speak during the public hearing.
Okay, okay, all right, sir, you wanna come on up? Okay, same
Yes.
thing?
My name is Ricky Christie. I live at 551 Gilly Circle. I've lived there for 30 years. My home was built in 1984. There's single dwelling homes throughout that whole community, that whole between Llewellyn Drive and Gilly Circle. We do not need a R4 complex that's going to bring in multiple homes and multiple people to live there. It has been mentioned, it's very nice, very peaceful, and the rest of us live in the county. So we need to stay away from the R4 development and keep it as it has been for many years, single dwelling homes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, yes, sir, you can be next.
Yeah, my name is Richard Sweeten. I live on Llewellyn. I'm retired. I just lost my job. I was laid off. Haitians took my job at Kasai, but I'm living on a set income right now, and I don't need my taxes higher. I enjoy what we have now on our street and stuff, even though sometimes it gets a little rowdy on that street. But the police, sheriff and the police, they're taking care of it. But I know the man that owns that land. I know him really good. And he's in it for the money. He wants to make some money because he got duped into buying that 14 acres in the 1.97. He wants to make some money out of it because he can't sell it. And I know him personally. But I got nothing against him, but that's his attitude. And he don't care. All he wants, he wants in the future. But I said, the people here don't want this, Richard. That's his first name. And he said, well, they're gonna have to change. That's his attitude. I don't want it. My property borders on 14.79 acres behind. And that, I don't know what they're gonna do with that. That's annexed to the city already, I think. But that land is unperkable. That's why nobody has ever bought it. He got duped into it. So he wants to make up his losses. So that's all I can say. I don't want this changed over. This Gilly Circle and Llewellyn, that little section in there, he could probably just get 2 or 3 houses at the most in there. But he's wanting to put apartments in there too, right there on the road. And we don't need that. I don't need it. I take care of my house. So we don't need this coming in there and digging up our front lawns and stuff. We don't want that. I don't. And I'm a landowner. homeowner.
Okay,
You got it.
well, thank you very much. Next, okay, yes, ma'am, if you want to do the same thing, come up.
What?
Yes, we do not want this.
Tell us your name real quick first, too, please.
I'm 229 Llewellyn Drive. We
What's
do
your
not
name,
want
honey?
this, and, we will fight this all the way. We do not want it, we can't afford it, we've had to fight for everything we have. So, we've worked at one time 2 jobs to get where we are at now, and we do not want our front yard. We enjoy our back lawn, we enjoy our peace, and we enjoy our pool, we enjoy our dog kennel, where they are. We do not want anyone to interrupt. We pay enough taxes.
Okay, and just, what was your first name?
I'm sorry.
Your first name?
Treva.
Treva.
Treva Switten at 229
Got it,
Llewellyn.
okay. Okay, just want to make sure we had it down, okay? Thank you very much. All right, anybody else here that wants to speak? Is there anybody that's in, if you're here on a particular agenda item and it's your agenda item, you'll be able to speak for it at that point if you're the actual proponent for it. Is there anybody else that has anything on?
Can I make one statement?
Yes, sir, come on up.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can.
My name is Ron Morris. I live at 699 Gilly Circle. All I want to say, our subdivision is fine. If the man's got enough money to build next to us, behind us, he's got enough money to build a road to go in and out, just like we do. That's all I want to say. I don't care how much money the man makes. They got nothing to do with me. I probably got less money than anybody's neighborhood.
All right, thank you very much.
I got a big amount, though.
Okay, I appreciate that. Is there anybody, can I just see real quick if there's anybody else here that, so that, we do have a lot on the agenda. I want to hear from anybody that wants to speak. This board wants to hear from you, but I guess if we're looking at that, if we're talking about, it seems like most people are here on Gilly Circle. Is there anybody else here that hasn't spoken that's here that is opposed to that? Just raise your hand real quick. Okay, all right.
Bruce Sims, I live out in Gilly Circle too, and that.
And tell us your name.
Bruce Sims.
Okay.
Yes, I don't want none of this going on either. I don't think we need any more apartments or whatever they're gonna build.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you. Anybody else have anything to say on any item on our agenda tonight? It's here.
Would you like me to go ahead on the public hearing part, or would you?
It's up to you. If you want to wait for the public hearing, that might be
I can wait.
just as well. Okay, anybody else? Want to make sure everybody's had a chance. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on into our regular business. First item is their preliminary final plat, 2 lots at 427 Belmont Road for Cecilia Kelly Living Trust in the urban growth boundary zoned RS1. I see Mr. Northcutt standing up, so
Hey, evening, everyone. Nicholas Northcutt. I did the survey on this, and basically, all we're trying to do is basically make these 2 tracks as even as we can. If you can tell, there's kind of a dotted line running right down along through there, and that is the current property line as it stands today, which runs through the house and cuts the driveway off and a whole plethora of other stuff there. But both of these are the same owner, and so what they were wishing to do is just split the road frontage and scooch the line over and split it right down the middle. In doing this, there is a small portion of the driveway right here that is actually still hanging over the property line. But we have set up a driveway easement or ingress egress just for that portion of the pavement that hangs over the property line right there, so they didn't have to tear their driveway out and everything. So, I mean, this is all family right now. It's actually, this tract has actually already been auctioned as presented on this plat. And, and anyway, it's the brother that bought it. So it's, the sister lives here, the brother lives here, she's handicapped, and he's going to either own this or live in it and take care of his sister. So anyway, the gist of it is that they want to scooch the line over to split the tracks and fix the encroachment issue with the existing house there. And I can answer any questions y'all have on that.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Northcutt on this? Brittany, have you and Adam had a chance to review and have any comments?
Our only comment is to,
3 words, and I'll say.
Pardon? Okay.
the only comment staff has is to verify any utility services serving the lots do not cross the adjacent lot, and if they do, to provide easements for such. Aside from that, we recommend approval.
Okay. Looks like it actually cleans it up, makes it a little bit better.
I think it makes it a lot better. And yes, we can put some kind of note to the effect that any underground service lines or anything, you know, that there be an easement for any existing underground service lines on that. We can take care of that.
Okay,
Make a motion to approve.
subject to the punch list.
Subject to the punch list.
Okay, all right, we got a motion and a second. Mr. Goodwin, Mr. Suberlin. Is any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. That one's good. All right, item number 2 is a preliminary final, 2 lots at 569 Carr Road and Riddle Road for Jeffrey Keel, also in the UGB zoned RS1. Mr. Northcutt.
Alrighty, so basically all this is there's a very small triangular portion of land that for whatever reason, back in the day, you've got a large farm here and a large farm here and here. I guess this small piece of land was left there so that Mr. Graham's land could connect to his other lands. But Mr. Keel and Graham have worked out an arrangement to where Keel wants to go ahead and acquire that little triangular piece of land and just square off his farm. So it's a 3/100 of an acre. It's a very small piece of property, but just something that Mr. Keel wants to get added onto his property. They both agree on it. Keel's already fenced it in, and so we're just going through the formality of taking care of all this with y'all.
Okay. Brittany, you have anything to?
Staff recommends approval of the plat.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Northcutt?
Move to approve.
All right, we got a motion to approve. Mr. Messick, Dr. Swanson seconded. Any other discussion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
I don't oppose, but I abstain.
All right. Item number 3 is preliminary plat, 10 lots on Belmont Drive for Ronnie Randall in the R3 zone. This will be the Northcutt show tonight, huh?
So I'm sure y'all are familiar with this tract of land. This was the tract of land that was at one time kind of slated for, being a hospital tract and whatnot. Here's the new Speedway, which is of course right across from the new McDonald's. So what they're seeking to do is, develop some single-family lots on Belmont Drive. So as per study of this property, if you scroll down, there was a portion of it that had been delineated for wetlands and whatnot, so we have excluded any area in there. And we're just wanting to basically develop the road frontage lots. So this being a blue line stream, we have set up buffers on either side of that to ensure the free flow of any off-site drainage coming through the property. And the detention for these lots is going to be held in these areas, outside of the buffer. So the remaining Randall property, is not really part of this subdivision. It's just the remaining property, but we did go ahead and show that on this subdivision plat to show that we are establishing the buffers and to show that, as the developer, he is going to have those detention areas on his remaining property, and he is committing to maintaining those areas. So there will not be any HOA set up on this, but there also won't be any detention that's on, or anything that's on these properties that will have to be maintained by an HOA. We have spoken with the postmaster, and the postmaster is good with all these folks having mailboxes since it's an existing street. Which leads me to one of the punch list, or a couple of the punch list items. In that, you know, as per subregs, when you're building a new street, it's got to be 22 foot wide with curb, it's got to have sidewalks. Well, in this case, we are putting sidewalks on the properties. But we are asking to not have to do the curbing on this. To do curbing on this, it would require an entire rework of the road. And I mean, there have been multiple other subdivisions that have been approved where they have not had to meet this requirement when on an existing road. Case in point would be, you know, the recent houses on Madison and Park Street and Old Tullahoma Highway. These are all very similar to this, and none of them were required to add curbing to an existing street that's already been in use for a number of years. So we're asking that the curbing be removed as a punch list item. As far as the sidewalks, I'm also aware, you know, that the subreg says that the sidewalks need to be within the right-of-way. But we're asking that there be a 5-foot sidewalk easement so that the sidewalks can be just on the other side of the right-of-way, on the actual property, and within an easement that would be a public easement. You know, if it's deemed that, and the reason for that is because it's not so much of an issue on the north side of the drain, but on the south side of the drain, the ditch gets very steep right there. And to put a 5-foot sidewalk right there would require a lot of extensive grading next to the road and everything, where they can just put the sidewalks. They're not trying to get out of sidewalks, they just want to be able to put them on their side of the right-of-way. Now, you know, one potential solution to that is they could dedicate an additional 5 feet if they had to, but they would rather do this because we feel like it can easily be taken care of with a 5-foot public easement on the property. And if we needed to adjust setback lines or anything like that that y'all deemed necessary, we could handle it in that way. But anyway, we are seeking approval for this as presented, and can answer any questions that y'all have on this.
What are you gonna do about the ditch? It's shoulder high on one end, I mean, shoulder deep, so the sidewalk, I don't understand where you wanna put the sidewalk. You wanna put the sidewalks across the ditch?
Yeah, right now, the way the property line runs, the way the margin of the road runs is essentially right at the top of the bank on the other side of the ditch. So he's just wanting to put his sidewalks on his side of that.
A lot of sense. I don't see why you'd wanna do it any other, I don't see how you could do it any other way.
Well, you could.
It'd be expensive.
A lot of money.
Yeah, you could, but you could still accomplish the same thing, you know, with a 5-foot public easement in this case.
So if you're gonna set them back on that side of the ditch, there should be plenty of land to set them back. I don't get why you wanna do a curb's what, 4 inches, 5 inches?
A curb?
A curb on the sidewalk, and how wide is it?
Well, so, you know, the edge of the pavement would be right in here, and then the sidewalk would be over here on the other side of the ditch. So in order to do curbing, you know, what they're saying, you know, Belmont doesn't meet the current requirement, and that the current requirement is that there be 22 feet wide of paved surface with curbing, and then the sidewalk, in this case, the public street is 20 feet wide in this case. So they're talking about reworking of all the ditches, reworking of all the road, repaving all the road, installing curbing, and that, like, so where does it stop? Does it just stop on these lots, or do you gotta do the other side of the road, or do you gotta run it all the way down to the end? It's like kinda, Are you gonna have curbing and just in front of the lots that are being presented here tonight? Or like, you know, it just doesn't seem like a cohesive plan to require them to put curbing on one side of a road. And it also doesn't seem very practical to require him to curb both sides of a city street all the way down through there.
I was gonna ask if there was curbing on the other side of the road. There's not.
And
There's not.
just to clarify, we made this comment because that's the black and white letter of the subdivision regulations. But I would agree from an engineering perspective that to grant a waiver and allow just the sidewalk to be installed on the backside of the ditch is a
It
reasonable.
makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Is reasonable in this case.
So what about the 20-foot road? Y'all raised hell in here last time about a 20-foot road, a road that wasn't 20 foot, or 22.
That was a commercial property that exited onto a 4-lane highway.
Well, that's actually comment number 4.
Okay, so I'm there. We not there yet?
I don't think we've made it that far yet.
Okay, I'll be patient. I'll ask that question when we get there.
But yeah, and Adam did go ahead and show like what those subregs say specifically, like he said, to the letter as they are in there. But anyway, there again, that's our reasoning behind this. And
But as far as the setbacks that he was talking about, I guess it's been a few meetings back, y'all made the change in the subdivision regulations that the sidewalk has to be in the right of way, and it has to be, the front of the house has to be, I believe it's 25 foot from the back of the sidewalk. So here, it wouldn't be in the right of way, which it being an existing street is not unreasonable. But the 25 foot is so you can park a vehicle between a garage door and the sidewalk and it not be on the sidewalk. So that's probably something that needs to be considered as that front setback line.
I believe we do have them 25 feet from the property line and not from the sidewalk. So that is something that I know that they'll be definitely willing to take care of on that.
So on the pavement, are the ditches pretty close to the edge of the pavement as it is right now? I'm just trying to wonder
Yes.
how you could even expand pavement by another 2 feet
Yeah, I mean,
potentially.
when you look
'cause
at
you're-
this, there's barely a shoulder in some of the areas, and to Mr. Messick's point, it is a pretty steep ditch throughout this area.
Yeah, I don't know how you gonna put driveways in? Tile, I guess? Big tile?
Big tile.
Big tile?
The tile's easy. Redoing the whole road is not.
Okay. Brittany, you and Adam, you all want to walk through your punch list items real quick, and then we can address any other questions?
So the first one is our standard coordinate with Manchester Water and Sewer Department based on available sanitary sewer capacity. And then we've talked through number 2, which is regarding the so number 2 is providing access to the remainder of the site for future development. So I know there was an easement that was provided across from McCord. I guess the intent to the comment was to provide a wide enough area that a public street could be provided in the future to develop this, since it's been rezoned as residential.
On that, yes, we did leave an egress easement on here, but we are under the opinion that with the remaining property being 5 acres or larger, it actually has almost 140 feet of frontage on MacArthur, and then I think it's got 575 feet of frontage on further down Belmont. I also know that the developers have no intention of wanting any public road back into the rest of that property. And if they were to do it, they would either come off of MacArthur, possibly squeeze in this area we've left between the wetland buffer, or, and I know there's some offset, intersection offset requirements that we would need to consider, but Mr. Randall also owns, if you want to pan up, also owns the commercial lot right here and has said if he had to, he could cut a 50-foot strip off of there to access it. But there again, we'd be working around intersection requirements. I believe it was somewhere along the lines of 260 or 270 feet of width that they had on Oak up there. So yeah, but that is something that Mr. Randall is willing to do if they can't come off of MacArthur or if they can't come off of their other additional frontage on Belmont.
Okay. Do you have a concern about, because there is road frontage for both to access that property, whether, at least it appears off of Belmont or off of MacArthur Street, is that?
We did take that into consideration, but there are some logistical challenges when you start getting into wetland disturbance and possible mitigation or that kind of thing, depending on the type of wetland or, and who has jurisdiction, and then the steep grades and the proximity to the speedway entrance here and turning left out of there could be a challenge. And then the same thing of it, if he dedicates a strip of property across his property there to the north, going out to, I guess that's Oak out there.
Right.
You know, there's the other speedway entrance right there with turning lane at that intersection, and then it'll be just right down the road. It probably would meet the 150-foot separation requirement from Belmont up there, but it would still be awfully close. So those are the considerations that we took into account when we made the comment.
But some of that would also really be the the
that's-
property owners.
But a lot of that's
If he
just-
wanted to, if he didn't do something to that effect, he's affecting potentially his own marketability of his property in the future.
That's correct.
So, okay. I think I heard Mr. Northcutt say there was, at least at this stage for that particular subdivision, there's no HOA planned. So we could strike
So at this point, yes, sir.
Well, I guess it just says if it's established, provide the documents, so we could probably leave it, I would guess, leave it on.
So then number 4 is the comment that Mr. Messick brought up about the 20-foot width of the roadway. So this comment is that the roadway is not to city standard. It's just below 20 foot in the areas that we measured in front of the development, and it appears to be uniform throughout, fairly uniform. So we called for it to be, in the comment, widened to city standard to 22 feet from Oak to the furthest extent south along Belmont that he's developing at this time.
But can you widen it, Dick? You got houses on one side, you got ditch on the other side, you'll have to fill the ditch in.
You would, yes, especially on the southerly side here, you would definitely have to do some filling in the ditch. Yes, I believe you're right.
Belmont Drive's been there for how long?
Long time.
Yeah, it's been. Okay.
Before I was born.
Yeah.
So I'm not fussing about
Yeah.
20-foot road, okay? I'm not, because it makes common sense, just do this, all right? In my mind, it made common sense to do the other last month. So if you're gonna do one, at one place, you need to do the same way all throughout the city, I think. That's just my opinion, for what it's worth.
Well, this street has had two-way traffic on it forever, so it doesn't appear that it would be unreasonable to grant a waiver from an engineering perspective. Like I say, this comment is also one that was made because that's the black and white letter of the code, so.
I'm good with it. It just makes sense.
It just makes sense.
To
keep it at 20.
keep
Yeah.
it at 20, yes.
Just to delete note 4.
Yeah. Okay, and then you talked through the sidewalk.
Last one's the sidewalks.
Well, it almost was.
Say it again now.
The last one is regarding the sidewalks that we've already discussed. I would recommend requiring the 25-foot separation from the front setback to the back of the sidewalk, however that's accomplished. But making the sidewalk be in the right of way.
When you say to the back of the sidewalk, you mean the house side of
The
the
house side,
sidewalk?
yes, ma'am.
That makes sense.
And there should be an easement for the sidewalks.
Public use easement.
Yeah, well, we've shown proposed sidewalks, but if we don't actually
I think it
spell
goes
out that
back
there's
to
a
this
public easement, we'll
22
make sure
for
that
the
it's taken
requirements
care
for
of.
that.
So we're asking you to move your setbacks back, is that what we're asking?
Will his
5 feet.
proposed houses still
Is
fit?
it just on those last lots?
No, it would be any lots with sidewalks. So, yeah, we only, there is only 20 feet here, so yes, we would need to scooch all the front setbacks of all the lots coming before you all tonight.
Back 5 feet.
5 feet.
I want to make this motion to approve, but I want
Okay.
to make sure that I get everything
Yep,
correct.
all right. Let's
So
run
I'd
through
like
it.
to make the motion to approve it with allowing him to keep the roadway at 20 feet and no curbing, and have the sidewalks on the house side of the ditch with an easement on
Good.
the house side of the sidewalk.
Pushing the setbacks back an
5
extra
feet.
5 feet.
So you delete note number 4, right?
Yep, 4 goes away or
Okay.
is waived.
Right, and then number 5, would you delete it as well? Or
Amending it.
amend it?
Amending it.
How would you amend it?
Amend it requiring, or allowing the sidewalk to be within, easement of the property, and an increased setback of 30 feet rather than 25 feet from the property.
Not in the right,
Yeah, a 5-foot,
Right, so do they have a setback?
not in the right of way, but getting an easement
yeah,
for the
a
sidewalk.
5-foot public
Yeah,
use easement.
just-
Yep,
Yeah.
no, it's right, you're right,
Okay.
you're right.
An increase in the setback to 30 feet rather than the 25 feet to accommodate for the sidewalk regulation, requiring them to be 25 feet.
And the other one was if you wanted to delete note 2 on the access, since he's got access other places, or if we need to require access.
I appreciate and respect the note, but I feel like that should be the property owner's decision
Okay, so your motion would also be deleting
too.
number 2. 3, I think, 3 is just if it's established, provide documents, so that if it's not established, there's nothing to provide. So I think it's okay. Okay, so we've got a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Dr. Swanson seconded, so for discussion, does anybody have discussion on is there any discussion on the motion? Any other questions for staff or for Mr. Northcutt?
You know, I'm gonna say one more thing about this. I was against annexing this and developing this
It was
it's
not
been
annexed.
annexed, but I was against making this R4 all along, or R3, or whatever it is, because it's just not the kind of piece of property you need to build on. We're making all kinds of exceptions, so he can do it. And I'm gonna vote yes for it. But I'm gonna vote yes with a caveat that I'm still not satisfied with it. This is the kind of property we don't need to develop. And there's some of that in the city. This is a piece of it. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
Okay, any other discussion? Does everybody understand the motion? Think so? Okay. So, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
All right. Very good.
Are you the 3?
Hmm? Yeah, yeah. Ouch, yeah, no, I know. All right. Item number 4, this may be Mr. Northcutt as well. Final plat, 55 lots in the Stonehenge subdivision, Phase 3, off of Interstate Drive for Donald Parker, zoned R4. Mr. Northcutt?
So this is, the last phase of what would have been Phillips's driving range off Interstate Drive. So you can see Phase 1 and Phase 2. There's a piece of land that he's retaining where the big power lines go through. So this is going to be finishing it out and finishing out the remaining phase of the development. He already has all water and sewer and power and everything in. I know if there is anything left, he's certainly willing to, do the bond and all that for whatever is remaining on this, but he is seeking final approval for Phase 3 of this. He does intend on setting up an HOA for this, and the bylaws have already been recorded as per Phases 1 and 2. So those are already on record, and he will be keeping all those same requirements in Phase 3. In this, we do have the sidewalks just on the exterior in the right-of-way as per the subdivision regulations. And have got sidewalks all the way down Phillips, and then also did some connectivity right through here as well with the sidewalks. So that would be item number 3. Number 4, it says the long radius curve will need to be removed, and an intersection will need to be constructed at the corner of 138 upon extension of Phillips Drive in the next phase of the subdivision. And this will be addressed in the construction plans. What they're referring to is this curve right here. The reason that was in there to begin with was when Mr. Parker had first purchased this piece of land, he did his initial preliminary, which just ended at this property line. Well, since that time, oh, hey, there it is. Wait a minute. Yeah, so here it is. He didn't own this at the time, so there was no need to have the stub street going out that way. And he already had his grading done, the detention put in, the road beds built, gravel beds put down, and everything, before he had acquired the Cavinium property to the north. So during Phases 1 and 2, he was able to acquire Cavinium, and then at that point saw the need to have to extend Phillips Drive and create the stub up into his property there. Now, his property on Cavinium, it does have access onto SISM, but if any future development is to be done there by him, his intention is to come straight through with Phillips and to go into the property that way. This was called Substation Drive. It's now called Phillips Drive. So that would be the long radius that is referred to in item number 4. And we're asking that it stay that way. And I'm not sure if it meant just like upon when we do Phase 4, you want to redo the intersection? Okay.
That's like an FYI note, just so that he's aware going forward. It doesn't necessarily require anything to be done on this plat.
Okay.
And they'll be ripping that up a little bit anyways for the water line, is that right?
Unless they've already extended that water line, then they would have to cut that road. Yeah.
We'll get to that one. So yeah, to their point, the water line is on the inside of the circle rather than on the outside. So one of the punch list requirements was to stub water and sewer out through there. And right now, there is already sewer there. And he actually does have water access through SISM if he had to. So right now, in order to stub a water line out at this property, he would have to bore under the road and install a water line to a piece of land that he currently does not have any plans for developing. I'm sure it's coming sometime down the road, but I think his intention is if and when that time comes, he could do the boring and then stub the water out at that point. If y'all agree to that.
I think we actually took that note off of the official comments for this meeting.
Okay, yeah, I noticed it wasn't there, but he does have sewer, and he does have water at the other end if he had to get it through SISM if for some reason this didn't work. So that tract does have water and sewer, if that's the intention of the stub out. Number 5 is explain the drainage and utility easement at the northern end of Phillips Drive. That would be this. So there again, this goes back to the time prior to him owning this property, and when he was developing phases 1 and 2, Phillips Drive actually stopped right there at this fence. Well, the fence is gone now, but there was a fence and an old property line there which represented the terminus of Phillips Drive, or Substation Road, where it turned into the Duck River Substation. So it was necessary at the time for us to put this easement there for when he did his sewer line expansion and then went on and tied into the sewer down at the creek. Right now, you know, the portion of land that he intends to dedicate for the road and for the stub out is, it's 50 foot wide. So he would still retain this piece of land right here. But I know he's flexible on that, and I know it's his desire to, if and when this gets divided or developed, that he will just dedicate this to the city and it'll just get absorbed into the right-of-way with the rest of it. But for now, with there being, you know, without us having any plans and without having anything concrete on what's happening up there, it's his desire to retain this small piece of land, just in case he had to get a radius right there or do something like that. He would have, you know, he would have control of that little portion until he combines it back with, you know, if he decides to expand this into there, then, you know, most likely at that point he would dedicate that in phase 4. So that's a brief explanation of number 5 there. Number 6 is provide a bond. He's all about that, and then coordinate with Duck River on the lighting design. So that's that doesn't really go on here, but anyway, that's the long and short, and I will answer any questions that y'all may have on that.
Good. Thank you. Brittany and Adam, you have anything you want to talk through on those?
Beyond what we've already talked through, I don't think there was anything.
Did you have an issue, is that when you, on number 5, where it was provide further explanation, doesn't really say to do anything on that drainage easement, is that acceptable to?
Well, that was provide additional information so that y'all could determine whether you want to allow that or not. It seems a bit messy. I think he could accomplish anything he wanted to accomplish to clean this up and just make it right of way, but that's up to y'all. I mean, it would be cleaner, it seems to, if he needed a radius or something. I don't see the city withholding that ability to do so.
Okay. And then the number 4, the long radius, that was really just in the event that was ever done, that would be addressed on the construction plans of any future development.
Yes, just it progressing through the planning commission the way it did, and having the long radius there and it being allowed on the preliminary because there wasn't a road stub, but then the actual construction happening that way and now platting it differently in the final, we just wanted to make him aware that also causes not just a change to the plat, but also his future plans and having to back up a little bit in construction and proceed on out and make an actual intersection there rather than having an odd roadway situation.
Gotcha.
So is there a reason to have that long radius there now anymore on that one lot? Should you just?
There wouldn't be, but it's already constructed.
Oh.
He did the grading and the initial road beds back when he was doing phase one.
I got you. Okay, I understand.
So it seems like the only remaining potential question then is the drainage and utility easement area.
Yes, sir.
And that's where, yeah, the existing sewer line lies within that easement.
Has that already been, that's already part of the public sewer system?
Yeah, that's been built, turned over, as I understand, it's being, used. I think in phase two, so yeah.
I guess that is then the question, does it need to remain as a,
And they can, I mean, they can clean that up, you know, whenever they go in and do the plat for the next phase. That can be easily cleaned up. It's just a little roundabout way of doing it.
So we have a utility easement there now for the sewer?
I believe so, yes. Right, Mr. Northcutt?
Yes, and really, I guess, you know, another reason why we didn't feel like it was, you know, like we didn't feel like it was as big of a deal, the road bed on Phillips Drive does not lie in the actual middle of the 70-foot right-of-way. It's actually on the, it lies east of the middle of it. So as the road comes up through here, there's no weird little bend in the pavement or anything like that. It just goes through really seamless through that area because the road bed was offset. And they did that to fit the existing road bed that was there for Substation Road. So they just used the existing road that was there, made the improvements that they need and paved it. And it just, I mean, it lines right up with that. Real nice. I mean, like if you're standing out there up here looking down the road, it just looks like one long straight shot through there.
okay, does anybody have questions for Mr. Northcutt or for Brittany or Adam?
So do we really need to have number 5?
I mean, it sounds like from Adam, it could be cleaned up if they do phase 4. It could be, I guess at any point, it could be dedicated to the city if the city accepts it. Sounds like the city's already accepted the sewer line in that area. So this is really almost more of Mr. Parker retaining a drainage easement across that as well, right?
Yes.
At the moment?
Yes, and I mean, I've spoken with him, and I know that if and when that happens, he's not going to want to keep a little strip of land. He's going to go ahead and dedicate it at that point.
Make a motion to approve as presented, subject to the punch list.
Subject to the punch list as it is? Okay.
I second.
All right, we've got a motion, a second, so really the punch list on number 5 doesn't require anything to be done, it's just an explanation, and I'll leave it like it is. Okay? Any other discussion? We've got a motion and a second, you got Mr. Goodwin, Mr. Suberling. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
After making the comment to Brad, well, I hate to do this, but I did sell that property to him, so I am going to abstain on this vote, so.
It will be so noted. All right? All right, next item is item number 5 was deferred, so we're skipping that. Next is item number 6, is a rezoning request at 728 South Spring Street for Sue Banks from R3 to R4. See Ms. Banks here. Nicholas, are you talking through that one as well?
Yeah, I'm representing the Spanx on this.
Okay, so tell us what's happening here.
So there again, just a
Okay? So Brittany, you want to, so what we're showing on the land use plan there, the orange is high density.
That's correct.
Okay.
I think you all should have the maps in your packet as well. But she has a 2 3/4 acre parcel there, currently zoned R3, just as most of the adjacent lots around her. On the land use plan, that area. Send it with a positive recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen.
Okay? Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Northcutt or for Mrs. Banks? Whereas Ms. Banks, as you, I'm sure has been explained to you, and I'll say this for the benefit of other people here too, since we have other rezoning requests, this board does not rezone property. Only the Board of Mayor and Aldermen rezones property. But those requests come to this board first and then are sent to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen with either a positive or a negative recommendation. And then the Board of Mayor and Aldermen actually decides whether to rezone the property. And they can do that regardless of the recommendation from this board. So this board could send it with a positive recommendation, the Board of Mayor and Aldermen could deny it. Or vice versa, this board could send it with a negative recommendation, and the board could approve it. It's ultimately the board's decision. So anyways, I always like to make sure people realize this board's doesn't actually rezone property itself.
I don't trust them both do it.
Yeah. So, anyway, so if anybody doesn't, if there are no other questions, we need a motion to either send it to the board with a positive recommendation or a negative recommendation.
Yeah, I'll make that motion. Send it with a positive recommendation.
Second.
Okay, we've got Mr. Messick and Ms. Swan, right? Okay, any other discussion? The motion is to send it with a positive recommendation. If no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Ken is a no. All right. Next one is another rezoning request, item number 7 on Stroud Drive for Trevor Taylor from C3 to R3.
Okay, I'm representing Mr. Taylor on this. So what this map doesn't reflect is there has actually been a division of this property to separate his dentist office from the vacant lot. Just to give y'all some perspective, you've got the car wash here, and we've got O'Reilly's right down here. Is that Advanced Auto?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Advanced Auto. So this is just right behind the car wash there. So this is Dr. Taylor's dentist office. So we had done a division a few months back to carve the vacant lot off. And so what he is wanting to do with his vacant lot that faces Stroud, he's wanting to change that to an R3 to reflect, kind of what's already going on Stroud. There's duplexes all along the road. You've got R3 that touches the property and R3 across the street. So he's wanting to use his vacant lot in the same manner that, that basically the rest of the street is being used right there, and he's wanting to do something residential on that property, whether it be perhaps another duplex or maybe single family on it.
And, yeah, and irregardless, and not that it matters, I own the property on the other side of the road, all that in red, and it's R3, and I would have no objection to that either. I think it's appropriate for that area too, so.
Make a motion to send it with a positive recommendation.
I'll second it. All right, we've got a motion and a second to send it with a positive recommendation. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Mr. Messick jumped the gun on that a little bit. Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'll sit down now.
All right, you getting tired? We should have gotten you a chair up here. All right, item number 8 is another rezoning request, 1606 Summer Street for Wesley Parker, from R3 to R4. Let's see, is that Joel, or? No, I know, I was just giving you that, Wesley. Starting to look like your dad there. So anyway, all right, well, tell us where you're looking at and what you're thinking.
It's zoned R3, just want to change it to R4, and then put a private drive down the middle of it with the apartments on each side.
And where?
The house
where
and
is-
shop are going to come down. It's
Yeah,
right
but,
there.
so right there
This is-
past your.
So this is Carden Estates right here. This
Gotcha,
is
okay, Summer Street back there, yeah, that's the
The big vape shop. I
gas
think it
station, used to be Manchester Liquors.
Used to be a liquor store.
Yeah.
Old Evans Office Supplies.
Yeah.
Elk River is here, so, yes. It is currently zoned R3, and the land use plan depicts this parcel as high-density residential.
Okay, and that, I guess it was posted,
Yes.
Letters
Signs
then?
were on all of the properties, that are on the agenda. Hopefully, yeah, check them at least twice.
okay. Any calls, any comments?
No, I didn't have any calls about this one.
Okay,
So you said that is part of the land use plan?
Yes. So we do have medium density in the area, but it is adjacent, or the property itself is in high density area. It is adjacent to medium density. But the darker orange here is high density, just as Carden Estates is being used as high density.
okay. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Parker? If not, we need to send it with either a positive or a negative recommendation.
I make a motion to send it to the board with a positive recommendation.
I'll second.
Okay, motion, Mr. Johnson, second, Dr. Swanson. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Good, we'll go to the board, so just remember, if you want to be at those meetings, too.
Okay, I'm out.
All right, yeah. All right, take care. All right, item number 9 is a public hearing on amendment to the land use plan on Woodbury Highway for Manchester LLC. So Brittany, you want to tell us real quick about it, and then I'll ask for any public comment?
So last month, we had a rezoning request for the rear portion of this parcel. This line is kind of close to the requested portion, but not quite. But anyhow, the rear portion of this parcel right here, he requested it be zoned to high-density residential to match the zoning that is on the adjacent parcel. Due to this area as a whole being designated as a commercial use on our land use plan, you all felt that, or we know that a amendment to the land use plan is necessary for this, so we deferred the rezoning to hear these two together. And so this agenda item is the public hearing for the amendment to the land use plan for that area to be designated as high-density residential rather than commercial.
But he's still gonna keep commercial on 53.
Yes, so the rezoning request is keeping commercial along Woodbury Highway.
Yeah.
And then the piece there that's the flag lot, it's already been,
So it is, on the land use plan, it's designated as commercial, but it is currently zoned residential and can be used as residential due to that zoning.
Is it R4?
It is R4. That was approved 2 to 3 years ago.
We talked about
That's what I
this
was
last
thinking.
month.
okay. Is there, so this is public hearing, is there anybody here that has any comment or wants to address the board as it relates to this particular piece of property? Okay, don't see any. Is there anything else on that we need from the public hearing standpoint? I know we need to go through the rezoning request, but we can just,
So I will need you all to send it to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen with a positive or negative recommendation, because the Board of Mayor and Aldermen adopted the land use plan, so that has to be amended by ordinance.
okay.
Hey, Brittany, I just have, this may be too early in the game to ask this question, but last time when he was here, we talked about where his access to his residential piece would be. Is it all gonna come off that flag lot piece, or is he gonna, I know it's probably a little too early to, or he's probably not committed to any of that yet. Do we have any thoughts about it one way or the other?
So he has not submitted any construction plans or plats of any sort, however, he is here.
Yeah.
And I believe you heard your question.
Yeah. So yes, off of Interstate Drive is where we'd access there. Trying to keep, the Highway 53 there for the commercial. Potentially cutting a road in there, depending on what comes over there.
Okay.
Because that'll kind of help both developments, another access for the back, as well as kind of a hard corner for commercial,
Gotcha.
possibly as well.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay. So I think what Brittany's looking for then would be to send the amendment to the land use plan to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen with a positive or negative recommendation.
I'll make a motion to send it with the positive recommendation to amend the city land use plan.
To show that area is R4.
Yeah, show it as R4.
Okay, we've got,
A second.
all right, we've got a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Do we have to approve plan of service for this?
No, this is not an annexation. This is merely an
Rezone.
amendment to the land use plan and a rezoning.
Okay, any other discussion?
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we'll send the amendment to the land use plan with a positive recommendation. So now we are on item number 10, which is the rezoning request, Woodbury Highway for Manchester LLC, map 67, parcel 102.03, from C2 to R4, and it would not be the entire parcel, Brittany, right? It's just the area designated back, however, was it 300 feet or something roughly that was,
That's correct. So it's about right in here. And then just a straight line to allow for the commercial along Woodbury Highway. And then the rear portion would be zoned to R, or is requested to be zoned R4.
I believe it leaves a 5-acre tract on the highway for commercial, doesn't it?
I believe so. There's a total of 11 point somethings, and the rear portion was going to be 6 and some odd acres.
okay? So then, again, this will be a positive or negative recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen.
I could be in the middle.
Yeah. We need a motion one way or the other.
Make a motion for positive.
Okay,
Second.
all right, we've got a motion and a second to send it to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen with a positive recommendation. Is there any other discussion? Anybody going to abstain? Mr. Goodwin? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Very good. Moving right along. All right, so this is the public hearing for accepting the plans of service for annexation of Oakdale Street, map 86, parcel 20, for Curl Properties LLC. And let's see. So Brittany, do you want to just refresh everybody real quick about it, and then I'll get public comment and get everybody oriented on the property?
So the property is at the very end of Oakdale Street. It is in the urban growth boundary. A portion of the property is already in the city limits. There's a single-family dwelling located at 1409 Oakdale Street. It is down to R4 in the city limits. The parcel as a whole is 13.5-ish acres, we'll say. So it would be approximately 12 acres that would be annexed into the city. They have requested the zone of R4. I provided you all with a packet of all of the plans of service that were provided to me by the various departments. Most departments stated they could serve the property. Aside from the one single-family dwelling, it is a vacant parcel. I'll let you all read through those plans of service.
Is that the old Jernigan farm? Is that where that is? Where it is? Okay.
There were no concerns addressed by any city departments?
So water and sewer simply stated the water and sewer locations. The nearest sewer, I believe, is on Elm Street, water as well. There is water coming from Cat Creek. They would have to obtain an easement across the parcel in the rear for that. But, so his plan of service simply stated the location of services. So extensions would be necessary.
Right. Okay.
Street department, I can't remember exactly what their plan of service states, but the very end of Oakdale Street will need to be upgraded to be compliant with city standards, the 22-foot width. Aside from that, the finance department stated they would gladly collect the taxes. My department, in a sense, already serves the property from a planning perspective. We would, of course, absorb any inspection services upon annexation. Police department stated they could serve the property. The school system had their generic plan of service provided, stating they need 3 years to plan. Parks and Rec will provide services as well. They provide services to the county as a whole, so that would not change. And Fire stated they could provide services, and upon development, of course, positive.
Brittany, you said it's 12.4 being added to something else.
The house on the corner.
So the house, if
Did you had a number, you had
Right there.
Is that a half acre?
13.6.
So the
total.
parcel as a whole is about 13 and a half acres.
Okay, and this is 12.4 is the request.
So 12.4 is the amount that's being annexed.
Okay.
Because the other part's already in the city.
Got it.
Okay? All right, ma'am, is this the one you wanted to speak to? If so, if you'll, can come up and just like before, you can tell everybody your name and.
My name is Amanda Montez. I live right here, and I own this property here and this property here. So if it's okay with you, I have some images to pass out. If you don't mind passing them out. So this came up in September of 2022, and I completed and presented a couple of due diligence packages to show that this type of development in this particular area of Manchester does not have sufficient infrastructure, sufficient urban services, or really the support of the community to pass this annexation or rezoning in this residential area. And there have been really no significant changes to this area. I'm there every day. So just to recap the previous presentations, this particular property has one entranceway and one, obviously, exit leading to the subject property. And there are several roads that lead to this property that do not, that are not up to city code, being the 24 feet. So it's important to notate that, although no plans were provided, it can be assumed that a high-density residential area will have several units, which I have an estimation that approximately 182 units or 409.5 people could essentially go back there for this development that are entering and exiting this particular road. That is not to mention the traffic that will occur and increase during the school year with Westwood Elementary and Westwood Middle School and no access to sidewalks down Oakdale Street. It's also very important to notate the road quality when we think of those roads leading in. When we think about emergency vehicles trying to get back there to service approximately 409 residents that could potentially reside in this development. As I said, there have been no significant changes made since September of 2022 that should allow the approval of this annexation rezoning. For example, the City of Manchester Water and Sewer Department reiterate and highlight a couple of points of concern for this development. No demand numbers were indicated for this annexation, and I'm quoting here, "It would be necessary for the developers to generate and demand for any proposed project with the concurrence of the city engineer to make the determination if the infrastructure is adequate." They also state that every new connection to the sewer system requires state approval, but there is an area of concern directly downstream of this proposed development. Therefore, TDEC will be reviewing closely design plans as well as proposed sewer volumes submitted for approval from TDEC. Manchester Water Sewer Department cannot give a commitment that TDEC will approve the completion of the proposed development. Also, the Director of City Schools, Dr. Joey Vaughn, indicates they'll need to construct new schools in the service area. The Manchester City Street Department notates that it'll be able to provide services once roadway meets city standards. The Fire and Rescue Department state that as is, they can service the area, but if something developed in the future, there may be requirements associated with the new proposed land use. Finally, and most importantly, I would like to bring everyone's attention again that the proposed annexation and rezoning directly contradicts several sections of Title 14 of our municipal codes on zoning and land use control. For example, 14-203 of Title 14, the purpose section states the purpose of this zoning ordinance is to promote the public health, safety, morals, convenience, order, prosperity, and general welfare. And by goes on to name 10 items. I'd like to direct your attention to the following. Number 2, prevent overcrowding of land. Number 3, conservation of the value of land and buildings. Number 4, minimize traffic hazards and congestion. And number 5, preventing undue concentration of population. The next section, Title 14, is very important, is Section 14.605, titled Residential District Regulation, which states, the residential districts established in this zoning ordinance are designed to promote and protect public health, safety, comfort, convenience, prosperity, and other aspects of the general welfare. These general goals include, among others, the following specific purposes. Again, I'd like to direct your attention specifically to the following. Number 2, to protect residential areas as far as possible against heavy traffic and against through traffic of all kinds. To protect residential areas against congestion by regulating the density of population of both buildings. And number 7, to promote the most desirable use of land and to conserve the value of land and buildings. The last section I want to point you to is 14.610, titled R4, High Density Residential District, where it specifically states that this class of district is designed to provide suitable areas for high density residential development where sufficient urban services and facilities are available or where such facilities will be available prior to development. Going on in the presentation, I've provided pictures of surrounding homes and areas which will be directly affected in the proposed development. Again, I know that some Manchester and Coffee County residents are seeking growth. I'm one of those voting citizens. However, concerned citizens like me want to ensure that we are selective in our growth plans. We want to ensure adequate infrastructure and sufficient urban services are available or even attainable to support this type of annexation or rezoning to a high-density residential area. Unfortunately, this proposed development does not support either of those, and I request that you also do not support it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Very well organized. Okay, was there anybody else here from the public that wants to talk about this particular item? Okay. Hearing none, what we will have to do, and of course, is there anybody from the property owner here, Mr. Northcott?
Now
Yeah.
or on the rezoning?
Well, you know, you can go ahead and talk now too on the public hearing part, if you, since that's been talked about.
Alrighty. I'm representing Mr. Curl on this. And Ms. Montez has brought up some very good points about this property. However, I think, you know, the thing that's being missed in that is that right now, what's being brought before y'all is an annexation request for a property that lies in your urban growth plan. What he's being requested to annex into is going to conform with the proposed land use plan. It's already attached to city limits of which his property is a portion, and he's just wanting to continue that. Now, to some of the points that have been made, you know, regarding sidewalks and traffic safety, at the stage when any development is going to come in here, all of that will have to be addressed. There will have to be, if at the discretion of the commission here, if there's a traffic study that needs to be done, that will be done. If there are improvements that need to be made to this section between Elm and this property, all of that will have to be brought up to city standards. And, you know, to her point about the overcrowding and all of that, you know, overcrowding, you know, these zoning density requirements that are set up by y'all are prevented to stop that type of thing. And he is gonna be conforming, anything that he does will have to conform to current restrictions and current requirements. But there again, none of that is what we are asking for right now. Right now, all we're asking for is to annex the remainder of his property. And there again, it conforms to y'all's current land use plan, and the city has proven that it can provide plan of services to this property. I understand Ms. Montez's concerns, and if I lived at the end of a dead-end road, you know, I would not, you know, I wouldn't be too happy about that either. But there again, you know, that's not what's being brought before y'all this evening. So we're asking that you please approve the plan of services to this. And I can answer any questions that you have on that.
Okay, and that was gonna be one of my comments, I think, was that, yeah, and I think, because you have a very, very nice presentation here too on your concerns, but to Mr. Northcutt's point, what's really before the board tonight is just the annexation request. There's no development proposed, we don't know what could happen there, all we can look at is the zoning that the property owner has requested, but even at that, that is just that's just a minimum. It could be, even if it was R4, it could actually be developed as R1. You could have one, it could be sold and have one house on it, it could be sold and have four, it could have, there's just, I guess it gives options that are available, but most of those items you've brought up would certainly have to be addressed if a development were proposed on that property. Brittany, can you walk through the land use plan? And of course, I guess the other thing I would say, and just sort of has been this board's position a little bit on annexation requests, is I appreciate that in the county, this is shown as an RS1, I think is what it said. Is that correct?
Yes.
But since it's not actually been in the city, while it might be a change a little bit, it's not, the city's not actually rezoning anything. It would actually, if it were to approve the request, it would just be zoning it as it's brought into the city. It would not actually be, it's not a city piece that's being asked to be rezoned, it's just asked to be zoned when it comes into the city. So anyway, go ahead, Brittany.
So the land use plan depicts the majority of that area as either high-density residential or high-density mobile home residential. This area appears to be more so just a generic high-density residential.
And I'd like to add, that map is actually, that orange piece right there is actually, we discussed this the last time, that's actually, my land goes all the way to here. So there's only that one entryway. So I didn't, it doesn't go that way.
Yeah,
It
I
just
think
goes-
that's what it shows on the property viewer. Where am I? Right. So on the property viewer, they do, the tax map does show that it's hers and not as a right-of-way any longer.
Gotcha. Okay.
The first time it was sent through, I guess I should clarify, the first time it was sent through the planning commission, it showed that as another.
Access point.
Correct.
Gotcha. And once again, I was saying, I know we've got a couple of items on the agenda, but just as well, while that this board, just like with zoning, does not annex, right? Only the Board of Mayor and Aldermen can annex property. So this board would send that, when we get to that, to the board with positive or negative recommendation, and then I would just, encourage whatever that is to, if you continue to have concerns, to address those to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen as well, when it's on their agenda. So, was there any other comments on the plan of services in this public hearing?
I have one. I don't understand how our friends at the Manchester City School System can say they're gonna need to construct new school buildings and they need 3 years to plan for growth, when they have no earthly idea what kind of growth there's gonna be.
Well, not to mention, the city did just purchase the land
We
on
did.
Batesville with the
To build
intention of
schools.
expanding
Yeah.
the school system.
What's the date on that
I think the school at Westwood Elementary where this would be zoned is at capacity for this particular development.
I'm just saying, if the city schools are gonna be contradictory in what they send us, I wish they'd just not send us anything. I wish they'd just get their stuff together, and I don't like what they've got written here. Just don't like the way it's done. But I'm grouchy tonight.
We have another. This commission looked at this before, 3 years ago, and we made a recommendation at that time.
Yes.
And what was our recommendation at that time?
Send it
Has
with a
anything
positive.
changed in those last 3 years that would make us think differently? Okay.
The land use plan was amended since then.
Okay.
To show that as high density. And then the mobile, and then would that be high density mobile home is the purple?
Right, and our previous 2015 land use plan didn't account for the urban growth boundary. So there was no land use plan depicting what was intended for the urban. growth
Outside the city limits.
Gotcha.
So Brittany, just for everybody's clarification here, so for our, accepting our plan of service, is that this board accepting it? Is it this board sending that to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen with a positive recommendation?
So for accepting of the plans of service, we simply accept them. And then the next agenda item is what we send to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen.
Right. Just want to make sure everybody was clear on that, so.
But we'll also vote on plan services.
Yes, you vote, you absolutely vote on it, but you don't have to send the plan of services. They just kind of go along with the annexation that you're going to send with a positive or negative recommendation.
Can you go back to the map where it was the aerial?
Just without the colors.
Yeah.
Okay. Like that. Would you
So
rather-
her entrance to her property is on that 1402? Am I looking at that right?
Well, it looks like she's
She owns it.
got two,
Yeah.
probably.
Okay.
Yeah. And then she's got the one down to over on the,
So
on the
your
west.
your residence where you live is in the county?
Yes, so that's, there's a little over 5 acres. Primary residence here. I also own a rental house over here. And then on this side, I own the lot in the city here and this right here.
Both of them?
Yes, I own this whole section right here. So I'm on 2 of the 4 sides.
gotcha. Okay, so the current agenda item is accepting of the plan of services which have been presented by the city departments.
I make a motion to accept those plans of services, but I also note with Mark, I'm not sure much thought goes into those. Just a side comment, but I make a motion.
Okay,
I'll second it.
okay, we've got a motion and a second to accept the plan of services. Is there any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm going to oppose just because of those. I thought the water department's plan of service was very vague.
I think that's being kind.
I think it's on purpose, don't you think?
Well, I mean, anyway, I'm down
Okay.
for opposing.
I don't write them, I just write my one.
All right, so now we're on to item number 12, which is the annexation request on Oakdale Street, map 86, parcel 20 for Curl Properties LLC, which is currently in the UGB, requesting that it be annexed into the city with an R4 zone. So that is what will be sent, would need to go to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen now with either a positive or a negative recommendation.
Move to send it with a positive recommendation.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second, to send it with a positive recommendation. Is there any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
All opposed.
Okay, so we got 2 opposed, 1 abstain. You get those? Okay. Okay, so that's been going with a positive recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. So like I said, I would just, if you want to make sure they are aware of your thoughts and comments, so just coordinate with Grace here and codes and zoning for when it's going to be on their agenda, and then I'm sure they'll.
There'll be a new sign.
But I'm gonna keep this for this meeting, so don't make me want to.
Mr. Johnson.
I'm gonna look at them.
Okay? Is that all you've got now, Mr.
I'm glad you did.
Northcutt?
I think I'm good if y'all.
You don't want to sit and stay?
Thank you all for your time this evening.
All right, well, thank you for your, appreciate it. All right, so now we're on item number 13, which is a rezoning request on Gilly Circle, map 68, parcel 55, for Richard O. Agbegor from RS1 to R4. Is that, Brady, do you want to
So-
talk through that real quick? Brittany,
this-
has that been here before?
Yes, this has been before you all
Right.
before. This was an annexation that was brought to us and, by Mr. Richard Agbegor. And he, requested annexation of this larger parcel and these 3 smaller parcels that front Gilly Circle. We sent it to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen with a positive recommendation for R4 on the larger parcel, a negative recommendation for R4 on the smaller parcels, but a positive recommendation for R1 on the smaller parcels. We did that in accordance with the land use plan. So R1 is our lowest density that we have. The property at this point is annexed. The zoning requests passed for R4 on, the first reading of the zoning requests passed for R4 on the larger parcel and R1 on the smaller parcels. At the second reading, they did not pass. So I had asked, rather than an annexed property floating out there with no zone, I asked the Board of Mayor and Aldermen to send it back to you all for reconsideration. I'm not really sure how far we can reconsider it, considering, again, it is annexed property, so it's officially city property. And the zones that we sent it before the Board of Mayor and Aldermen with are verbatim of what the land use plan shows, with high density in the rear and the lower density along the existing neighborhood. So here we are to reconsider it.
So on the 3 on Gilly Circle, which I think I see that as our next agenda item, so was that, even though that was sent with a positive recommendation for R1, was that not, was that also not approved on the second reading?
Correct. So both, yes, they were, neither one of them were approved. Number 13 is actually for the larger parcel.
Right. And number 14 for the
And number 14 is for the
3
smaller
smaller. Yeah.
parcels. But again, it meets the land use plan. Initially, he had asked for all of it to be zoned R4. We worked with him and decided to not allow for R4 along Gilly Circle. And so we sent those with a recommendation of R1. They passed the first reading at the board level. They failed the second reading. And so they sent it back to us for reconsideration. To my knowledge, we're welcome to send it right back with our same reconsideration.
I'll make that motion. Send it back with the original recommendation.
We're just voting on the 14 acres right now, right?
So item number 13 is for the rezoning of this larger parcel from RS1 to R4.
really to be brought in as an R4 zone to
Right,
the
so it's
city.
currently a county zone, however, it's no longer in the county, it's annexed property. So it does need to be assigned a zone of some sort. The land use plan depicts that as high-density residential. The neighboring larger 99-acre parcel has been brought into the city as R4 as well.
How big is that property?
This one,
Yeah.
it's almost 11 and a half acres.
And access to it would be where?
There is a undeveloped right-of-way from the intersection of Gilly Circle, Llewellyn Drive.
But we've got a motion. Mr. Goodwin's made a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it, just so we can talk about it.
Okay. All right, so discussion.
Let's talk about the ingress, egress.
Yeah.
So,
First of all, the motion's for what?
The motion is, the property's already been annexed, so the motion would be to send it to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen with a positive recommendation, the board to zone that area that Brittany's showing in green right now as R4.
Just the back.
That's right, just the back.
the larger parcel 55.
And I know, and I'll say just because I know we've got a crowd and everybody's been very patient with the long agenda tonight, because I don't know that people were here when it came up before. I don't remember a crowd being here when it was here.
There wasn't as much for the plan.
When it was here before, but as, if you couldn't hear what Brittany was saying, this area in the back that was requested, I guess the owner originally asked that and the part on Gilly Circle be zoned, come into the city with an R4 zone, but this board said it only wanted to send the back area with the R4, but the area along Gilly Circle with an R1 zone, which is the least dense zone that's in the city. And so right now, this agenda item is just that section that's she's showing in green, which is to the rear of the property along Gilly Circle. And of course, again, at this stage, this is just bringing property in and annexing it. This board has no knowledge over what may or may not be proposed, if anything, ever to be built on that property. I'll get you one second. So the request is just to bring it in. So even if something is zoned R4, it could be sold and have one house put on it. And just because something's R4 doesn't mean it has to be small lots or apartments. It could be whatever the property owner wants. But anyway, I say that just to be clear. And I know we've already had public comments, so I'm not trying to reopen public comment, but y'all have been here in patience. I want to make sure people understand. So if you've got a couple of quick questions, I'll try to.
You showed that there's access right there. There's no access right there. That's just straight woods. There's no access road or anything.
Undeveloped right-of-way is what I stated, I believe.
It's not even any sort of undeveloped road. There's nothing right there.
That's what she said.
Undeveloped.
Yeah.
There's one little
It's a right of
driveway
way.
going to a house trailer that's.
But again, we're not gonna get into talking all back and forth. We've had our opportunity for that, but I did have one other question here. Yes,
I
ma'am.
was wondering how they were going to get to that piece of property.
Yeah, and of course, like I said, at this point, don't really know. We do show on the tax map that there is an undeveloped right-of-way, but I don't know, and nobody knows as we sit here, if somebody could, if this person is gonna develop this, if they may sell it to whoever owns the other piece of property over next to it, they may come in, there's just no way to know. It's a piece that's in our urban growth boundary that the owner has asked to be annexed. So, it has been annexed, so it needs to have a zone attributed to it. And our current land use map, which had been worked through and thought about, showed that area as, I guess as high density, correct, Brittany, but then low density along Gilly Circle, trying to avoid having the high density right in Gilly Circle where there's already low density. So, so I think at this stage, that's all that's before this board at the moment. There's no development proposed that I'm aware of. There's no plans that have been submitted that I'm aware of. Brittany, have there been anything? So, so this is just sort of setting up, and as you can see, I don't know what those are currently zoned, but Brittany, you said the property to the west that's in orange, that's already zoned R4? And then the property to the east, that's the other farmland, other direction, other side? Land use shows it as high density, and that's not in the city at this point, is it? The property to the east over there?
No, Gilly
Yeah.
Circle is
Yeah.
not.
Okay.
And we're not annexing any of Gilly Circle. We're not
No, yeah, and that-
annexing any of the well, right now.
Except for the three
Three lots.
lots that are already
Yeah,
annexed.
but we're not annexing any houses that are built in Gilly Circle subdivision.
Great, and that was a note I made. I heard somebody in their public comment, there were a couple of things I heard. One was, yeah, to your point, Mark, and I appreciate you bringing that back up,
Yeah.
was annexation of other properties or people that didn't want to be annexed. Yeah, this only applies to that particular person's property. There's no other annexation of other properties.
They requested, the owner has requested it.
Yeah, the owner has requested it, that's right. This is not something the city initiated, it's something the owner initiated, which any property owner in the urban growth boundary has the right to do. But the city is not going in and annexing anything else. So I wanted to make sure that was clear, and I appreciate you bringing that up, Mr. Messick.
These need to be stated, the city doesn't have the authority to annex your property.
Without your
Without your permission,
request,
your
your
request.
consent. Used to, but then there was some court rulings that changed that, so.
And we could put R4 zoning on that, and until they bring a plan to us that meets the city specifications for roads and sewer and water and all that guy's got is 11.5 acres zoned R4. He can't he couldn't put up a stick building on it, really. So it could sit
Right.
there,
Oh, yeah.
who knows?
And that was my other point that I was trying to make a minute ago, was, yeah, that it could end up being a single-family dwelling, it could end up being no dwellings, it could be, that's not before us tonight.
Well, because we've got to approve the plans of any roads or any sewers or any water that goes to it.
I understand.
And they have to meet city specs,
Okay.
And until that happens, he can't build anything on it.
Okay, but those are pretty much a done deal, right?
It's just zoned R4. That's, it's a 11.5 acre tract of land sitting there in the middle of all that.
That he can't get to,
He can't get to,
unless he goes to the yellow property.
right,
Or sells the Lord.
yeah. But if he goes through the yellow properties, he'll have to bring that plan before us, and we'll have to approve it for him to develop that tract of land.
And then, once again, just for clarification for everybody, because I know this is not something people see or think through a lot, and I don't mean to belabor it, I just try to explain it, that this board does not zone property, only the board of mayor and aldermen is zone property. So once this board sends whatever it's going to send to the board of mayor and aldermen with a positive or negative recommendation, then it would be on the board of mayor and aldermen's agenda to decide what to actually zone it. But they'll have to zone it something because it's in the city, and I don't think it can be in the city without a zone. And so last question, yes, ma'am.
Will the board of aldermen have a place that we can come
Sure.
and make our
Yes, ma'am, it will be, they will have, it will be on their agenda, it would require 2 readings. Or I think, it was just to go back for a second.
So if it's sent with the same recommendation, we can pick right back up on the second reading of the ordinance.
Gotcha.
And so that, I'll put a new sign out.
So you'll have a new sign out, and then at that meeting, they will have a public comment period at the beginning of their meeting for members of the public to address any items on their agenda. And that would be just like you did tonight. You would have the opportunity at that meeting to go up to the lectern and speak to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen during their public comment period. Okay? All right, so we've got a motion and a second to send this piece, the 11.32, back to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen with a positive recommendation that it be zoned R4. Is there any other discussion on that? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, Schuberling. All right, thank you. So now we're on item number 14, which is the zoning of Gilly Circle, maps 68F, Group B, parcels 17, 18, and 19. Excuse me, for Richard Agbegor as at R1. So same thing, that's what was sent the last time to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for that to be zoned R1, which of course is the least dense zone the city has to try to keep that area in keeping with what's already there on Gilly Circle.
I make the motion, we send the same recommendations, keep it R1.
Second.
Okay. All right, we've got a motion and a second then to send that back for those 3 parcels with a positive recommendation to be zoned R1. Is there any other discussion on that?
The only thing I'd say, just tell your neighbors, you're not being brought into the city and you're not having to pay city taxes. That's not what we're talking about here. I think there was some people, I think the Sweetens had that figure, maybe somebody else did, I don't know. That's not what we're doing.
Correct. Okay, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, we will move on to item number 15, which is amendment to Title 14-623 regarding Historic District Overlay Regulation of Signs. Brittany, you want to talk us through that? I'll just say real quick, and I thank you to everybody for coming and for letting your voice be heard. Okay.
So this is an amendment within Title 14, also within the Historic District Overlay Regulations, but being that it's in Title 14, everything in Title 14 is supposed to come before you all. Historic Zoning Commission approved this and sent it with a positive recommendation to the board. For good measure, obviously, I wanted you all to do the same. So what this amendment will do will allow for lit signage within the historic district along Highway 41 on any parcels that have open space and that have over 150 feet of road frontage on Highway 41. And that essentially comes down to the only 2 parcels that would allow for that would be City Hall and the parking lot parcel over here that People's Bank owns. So currently, the historic district regulations don't allow for lit signage. I know that there are some lit signs that have kind of scraped their way through, but for the most part, it's not allowed within the historic district. There was a request for a lit sign. It wasn't quite going the way that it needed to. But the Historic Zoning Commission felt that any business that is along US Highway 41 should be allowed to have a lit sign with these stipulations.
Brittany, I want to just clarify, it's the sign and it allows them to advertise. you can have an LED sign right now in the historic district as long as there's no advertisement, correct? I thought that that's
No, no.
I thought that you had said that to us.
So, no. So currently it states that signs, which incorporate any manner of flashing, moving, or intermittent lighting, excluding public service signs showing time and temperature, are not allowed. And then there's another section that states internally illuminated electronic programmable neon changeable copy signs that flash, change color, or scroll are prohibited in the historic district. So behind those two sections, so like the one that says excluding public service signs showing time and temperature, we're also going to exclude polar ground signs on parcels with open space of over 150 feet of US Highway 41 road frontage. And then we'll also exclude that prohibition later for the same standard polar ground signs on parcels with open space and over 150 feet of Highway 41 road frontage.
So maybe what you were thinking, I'm wondering, is was there just, what about just a backlit that's not an LED, not a flashing, just a one that is,
So-
let's say, dusk to dawn, that has some backlighting?
So external
there?
lighting of
Yeah.
signage is allowed. Any other open space area that may have a non-lit sign could have a spotlight shining onto it. But no internally illuminated signs are allowed. I know that there have been some that have been approved in the past, and so they're kind of there now. But this would allow for lit signage with programmable LED scrolling, all of the above, along Highway 41. But with this stipulation, like I stated, it's only for parcels that have over 150 feet of Highway 41 frontage. And if you look at the map, really the only parcels that pertains to is City Hall and the parking lot parcel that People's Bank owns.
Where are they gonna do the new ATM?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Just
have we
passed
not
it.
talked about this before? Did we vote, Joey, did we vote on this? Just board?
We voted to remove them from the historical district.
Zoning district, yeah.
Okay.
And we took it back to them to see if there was options to not take them out. And I think this passed with this verbiage at their meeting, right? Historical
Yeah,
zoning.
so the removal of the parcel from the historic district was essentially treated like a rezoning, and it passed the first reading. They withdrew prior to the second reading due to this amendment. So should this amendment pass, it will allow them to do what they want on their parcel.
And keep it in the historic
And they
zoning.
will remain in the historic district, which is really what they want. However, if this does not pass, they will probably proceed to be removed from the historic district.
This will let them put the LED sign they want to.
Yes.
Okay.
And it'll let City Hall do
That's
that.
it. Took a long time to say that, sorry.
Yeah. So this is a recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Alderman?
Yes.
Yes.
And this keeps it in the historic?
Yes, so all
Yeah.
parcels will remain in the historic district. This just simply amends
historic parking lot.
the
Mark,
sign
yeah.
regulations within the historic
For
district.
historic steakhouse.
Okay. Does everybody understand?
I'm historically opposed to this, but I'm gonna vote for it tonight.
Are you making a motion?
I would, yes, sir.
Mr. Umbarger, you gonna second that?
I will.
Okay. Oh, yeah, out here, make sure you get you on the record here.
I'm
So-
gonna make sure you make some motion.
Oh, okay, oh, there we go,
That's your new
okay.
job.
All right, so we've got a motion, which has been seconded to send it to the Board of Mayor and Alderman with a positive recommendation. Is there any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Abstain.
okay. Historic Zoning Commission. All right, there'll be no other report from me. Adam, you have anything?
No, sir.
Brittany?
I already put up, I was ready to go home.
All right, you've got annual training
So
completion.
I do want to report on the agenda and out loud that almost everyone attended attended our annual training that we held in June. For anybody who did not attend, which there was, most of you did, I think there was only one or two that did not, MTAS provides lots of training via online. And if I come across that, I will be sure and forward it on. I know Tullahoma typically does their training in the fall, and so I will inquire with them to see if we can have an invite extended to a couple of you that did not attend.
Did he say University of Tennessee had like,
MTAS, yeah, so they
okay.
kind of go hand in hand with UT.
I just one comment before we close out, I guess. It just seems like that we're not being proactive enough. We're being very reactive. People bring stuff to us, we vote on it. You know, what should we be thinking about? As a planning commission, we should be thinking about things. Are there ordinances we need to relook at? I mean, does the plan unit development ordinances need relooking at? What are those things? And I said something to Brittany a week or two ago about her metrics. What are the metrics she measures? To give us some idea of how your workload is increasing, or how the diversity of what you do increases. How many inspections are you doing? How many inspections fail? Those type of things, I think, would help us be a little bit more proactive than reactive. So one thing I would say is maybe next agenda, we could just talk about that a little bit, maybe let everybody think about that a little bit, about what we might need to do to be more proactive.
Okay.
And then I make a motion that we adjourn this.
Oh, you gonna steal that from, you gonna steal it from me?
Oh, I'm sorry.
He withdrew his motion.
Make
a motion, we adjourn.
All right, Ward, you can.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, very good.
I abstain.
All right.
We got one more.
We got one more real fast here, everyone. So we've got be the regular call meeting of the Manchester Board of Zoning Appeals. I know we've got don't really have much of an agenda to approve, but we'll still approve it. I think the agenda is just the approval of the minutes.
Yes.
So if we can get a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion approved.
second?
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so now we have the minutes from the meeting on June the 16th, which I think really all they did was approve the minutes from the prior meeting. So if we can approve.
So moved.
Got a motion to approve, is there a second?
Second.
Again, seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Be no reason for public comment, because we have no other agenda items, no report from the chairman. Adam, you have anything? Brittany? All right, Mitch?
No.
Oh, yes, you do.
Motion.
To adjourn.
There you go.
Second.
Dr. Swanson, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all very much. I know that was a longer meeting tonight, so. Hey, Ward.